how's it going? Today's live real talk is about value. What is value, right? I'm actually listening to an audiobook by Richard Branson, Business Strip Bear. So before we get into that, my name is Jean-Serge Gagnon. I help you create digital courses so you can live your life on your terms. And today I was late for work, so I didn't do the live. That's why I'm doing it right now. It's kind of late. It's not my typical, schedule. And I'm just doing it here sitting on my sofa. But the thing is that value is one of the things, oh my God, I remember, well, first of all, Richard Branson, he's the Virgin CEO, I guess, or creator or owner. I'm not really sure, but he's very well known, right? And he's done lots of successful businesses. And he, in this book that I'm listening to, he's talking about value that that businesses have to give to customers, right? So why do customers come back to businesses, like big businesses? Because you feel like they're treating you well. You feel like they're doing the right thing. They're making you feel like they care about you, right? So they might have free bonuses if you do certain things, or maybe customer service can give you something, or there's all sorts of different things that businesses do, right? But as an online entrepreneur, as trying to build your brand, trying to build your personal brand, trying to do attraction marketing or affiliate marketing or internet marketing, you got to be giving value. Now, I remember when I started my online journey, I was like, what is value really? I mean, I kind of got the gist of it. It's, you create videos like I'm doing here. You create blog posts and you post on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your whatever you're doing, right? And of course, when you first start, you gotta do things like you gotta realize that you shouldn't be, doing things everywhere, right? Like I'm doing things in a lot of places right now. But when I started, I certainly shouldn't do that. When you start, you certainly shouldn't do that, because you got to learn the different tools, you got to learn the platforms, all these things. But the thing is that you need to give value. And what does that mean, right? Like I said, it's those posts, it's all the content and everything else. But why is it value? Why is it value? Well, value is what somebody else is willing to potentially pay for, right? Whenever there's an exchange, that's value, right? The value is money, obviously lots of times. But when we talk about value on social media, we're not talking about money, because of course there's no money exchange whenever people look at your stuff or watch your things. The value is they learn something, or they get entertained, or they just appreciate what you're doing, right? So it's got to be specific to your audience. And that's the most difficult thing, I think, when we start online. We feel that whatever we have is for everybody, right? But the thing is that it's not for everybody. It can't be for everybody, because, well, it can be, but when you're starting to build your brand, nobody knows you. So the most important thing is, I don't know if you've ever read this or heard about this, but they say that it takes seven. Well, Eric Orr says that in his book, the GoPro, right? He talks about this, that it takes 7 exposures before somebody makes a purchase or joins your team or whatever, right? So it's the same thing on social media. It takes 7 exposures before people start to kind of take notice, right? It doesn't mean they're going to buy something after 7 times seeing you, but the idea is that before they start to kind of notice you, before they start to decide whether they like you or not, before they decide whether they trust you or not, it takes all these, exposures, right? It takes time. And if you're not focusing on a particular audience, specific avatar, specific kind of person, specific environment, specific interest, all these things, it's really harder to get those 7 exposures, right? Because you might, say you don't have that specific audience. Well, you might be producing content for somebody who loves dogs, right? That video, they're going to see it. They're going to be, oh, that's so cool. Look at that. He's got it. Let's say you have a dog and you're posting a video with your dog or something, right? Well, that person's going to like that video. But then, I don't know, the next day you post something that has to do with that, somebody who's got a baby would like, or the next day it's somebody who's got a cat, and the next day somebody who doesn't like animals. All these different kinds of things. Then the person who likes the dogs won't relate when you show the one with the cats, for example, right? And so that means that you're diluting the exposures because people will not watch what they're not interested in, right? So that's why if you focus, say you're, for example, focusing on people who like dogs, well, you can do things around that based on that personality, and that becomes more consistent with your audience. Well, even though you might want to sell to people who like cats, by focusing on people who like dogs, it makes it more focused. And that's one of the things that's important. And then the value becomes them liking what you do, starting to get to know you, and then eventually you get to the next level, which is, starting to sell stuff, right? So value is what somebody would be willing to pay for, if you will, right? They'll pay with their time, they'll pay with their interest, they'll pay with money, they'll pay with exchange of likes and shares and that kind of stuff. That's what value is. Right, so I hope you got some value from this video. And if you think somebody else needs to hear this message, then go ahead and share. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget, we're going to be doing a free 5-day challenge on how to do your very first digital course. So make sure you comment below if you want to be in that waiting list, or send me a message and we'll get you on that list. It's coming up soon. All right, so have yourself a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.